Hi everyone, I hope you are fine. As some of you know, usually I do some videos in French, but for some specific topics, I do it in English as well when it's important for the community. Some members and people requested that I do the analysis in English, so I'm happy to do it even if it's not my native language. And I will do a full review of the Soul Exchange list that has been released today by multiple sources, so I think it's pretty accurate. We are never sure they can change maybe 1 or 2 euros before the final date, but usually the people that are sharing the list are 95 to 100% accurate, so I'm pretty confident regarding this list. So we will do the analysis color by color, but just so you have an overall view of all the heroes, we have Aconia in yellow, we have Nemesis, Aconia in purple, sorry. We have Nemesis right after her. We have Zandrea, Zenobia, Ullius for the 10 soul line, 10 soul exchange line. For the 15 hero line, we have Becky, Constance, Archie, Flip, and Thanatos. And for the 20 hero line, we have Rochefort, Queen Guwang, Zandrea, Hypnos, and Cell. So now I will review each hero by color. Please remind that it all depends as well on your deck and what you need. Maybe you need a specific color. Maybe you only have 10 souls or 15 souls to trade for one hero. And maybe you do have already this hero. So I will do like an analysis in case you have you don't have any of this hero and are they interesting or not on the roster, I would say. First of all, we have Aconia against 10 souls to trade her. She was one of the first elemental purple heroes of the contest of elements, and the stats are not that bad, 909 in power, but we already have like a good gap between heroes that are coming out today. Almost 1100 power points for one horsepower. So yeah, it's quite a difference, but still, I still think she's usable, definitely. The only thing that bothers me is that currently we are more in a meta where we have a lot of the ocean costume in purple. So Aconia would be extremely useful if we were in a meta with yellow heroes in tank for wars, but it's not the case at the moment. So she's really effective. I think if there are one or several holy enemies, which is hardly the case today. So yeah, I wouldn't choose her unless you have a lack of heroes doing things in your roster. I wouldn't really choose her. But who knows, the meta can change. But for now, I don't think she's the best choice to take overall. Okay, then after that we have Becky. Becky is a great hero. If you want to see her in action, I believe UCLA pack did a lot of wars with Becky in one of her team, and it was pretty effective. So depending on what you have, she's a magic hero, and you can launch the mana charge with only 5 tiles, so it's pretty effective. But what I love the most with Becky is like the passive. You can have some healing with a passive, and you can also slow down enemies by taking them some mana generation with the second passive. So pretty interesting. She's better known for her second charge. The first charge, she did only damage to 1 to 350% damage, which is not that great. But if the enemy uses the special skills, all other enemies will have their mana reduced. So she can be used as a mana controller, but I prefer the second charge, which is like an equivalent of what Guardian Hippo can do. And she also increases the mana of all allies by 10%, which is super useful. Mana is the key of the game, and she will deal a lot of great damage. So Becky, I don't have her in my roster, and she could really be a great hero for me. But as we will see, there are a lot of great options in this solo exchange for me, I believe. So yeah, it won't be an easy choice for a lot of people this time around. So Becky, for attacking teams, she's clearly a great asset. In defense, I don't think she has a place anymore. But in attack, I think she can be really useful. You can see her stats with at 90 level, so it's pretty good, I think. Overall, 2,000, more than 2,200 health. You can use a legendary troop on her. So yeah, I still think she's usable, and she should definitely be considered, especially if you don't have Guardian Hippo. She can be like used as him. And also for events, I mean for towers, she can be really great. And for 20 stars, we have Rochefort. So I believe they are doing this with stats, because if we look at the stats, okay, Becky and Aconia are close, but Rochefort has better stats. 928 points of power. And is dealing great damage. And what is good with like Musketeers, it's the cover effect. So yes, I really think that in attack it can still be used. But is average speed, so it depends if you have a team that can use an average purple attacker. If not, maybe Rochefort won't be like a great asset for you. In defense, is like a fighter, so it's always annoying to facing a fighter. But it's true that the issue with these heroes for defense is that they will have less good stats than current heroes for defense, but I still think for offense it can be great. So yeah, a first good selection of 3 heroes, but the one that is standing out for me is Becky. So I would choose her, even if you have 20 souls and you need the purple. I really think Becky is great overall. Then after that we have the yellow heroes. Nemesis. Last time we had Erebus, so this time around we have Nemesis. And what is great is that we do have a lot of the ocean costumes, and Nemesis can be like a good hero to put in a stack attacking team where you have fast yellows, and Nemesis might be able to secure the kill of the ocean costume. So I think she can be great, but given the stats, if you are using her, you should definitely limit breakout twice at least to be effective. And maybe use her on more on a second charge, because first charge is 500%, which is pretty nice for a sniper, but second charge is 640%, which is really nice. And it might be enough to kill the ocean costume. So yeah, for attack, definitely. If you want a hero for defense, Nemesis won't be the best choice, but for attack, she's definitely great. But you can see that the stats are a little bit behind, only below 2,000 health points, which is not that great in current meta, I would say. After that, we have Constance, so another musketeer. It looks like they put several heroes of the same families together for this solo exchange. So Constance was the top hero in defense. Depending on the level that you play, she can still be usable in defense for wars or tourneys, I would say. For attacks, I think her damage input is a little bit low now, given her stats, but she gives nice effects with the dodge, and she offers also cover. So yeah, Constance is a great choice as well. At the time, I really wanted her, never had the chance to have her. But yeah, I also think that she's great. Yeah, and if you broke her twice, it's pretty decent. But what is really interesting is the fast fast special skill, and the dodge as well. It makes her quite interesting. The dodge interesting in fast because you can have other heroes that do dodge, but Constance is doing that really well. And we have Queen Gu Wang for 20 souls. I have mixed feelings regarding Queen Gu Wang because even at the time, I didn't think she was that great. And okay, she has a good deal of damage, but at average speed. And the other effects, it really depends if the enemy uses special skills. So you might not be able to benefit from all that she's doing at the right time. But she can be like a decent hero, maybe in rush defense. You can have way better than Queen Gu Wang, but she can be annoying still. But yeah, out of these three, I prefer Constance for defense, I would say. And Nemesis if you need a yellow attacker to counter Diao Shan, I think she can be useful. So yeah, I would choose Constance or Nemesis. Going to green heroes, we have Zandrea, which is the past hero of the month, 2023, so pretty recent. I don't like her really well. Facing her never had an issue with her in defense because, okay, she's summoning pretty steady minions, but minions have so many counters. You only need to use Gourmet costume, which is in red, so the great counter for her. Cobbler, Captain of Diamonds, you don't even need 5 stars to counter this type of hero if she's in defense. And she's not cleansing, she's not taking bonus away from enemies, so for me she's pretty incomplete for a support as well, so yeah, I wouldn't take Zandrea. Archie without costume is also a possibility. For me, green are the least solid choices here because Archie is not a bad hero at all, but it doesn't have his costume here. And yeah, the stats will be really lacking if you don't have the costume, unfortunately. It can still be useful if you need to block a bonus on the enemy's team. But if you don't mind the color, there is a better hero than Archie in this list. If you don't mind about the color, we will see, but there is Hypnos as well. And I think Hypnos will be a better job at preventing bonus. Because Archie, the issue is, like, you need to fire before the enemies have bonus. Hypnos, you don't mind if enemies already have their special skills, because he will dispel, he will have priority dispel. So yeah, Zandrea is a better choice for the green, obviously, at 20 souls. For me, there is no debate around these three. Why? Because she can be used in rush, but outside of rush. But for me, she will really shine in rush wars, especially if you have at least one ice enemies on the opposing team, because she will be able to do mana control on at least 2 enemies if the enemy team has one blue hero. Deals pretty great damage as well. And she will enhance mana, the mana board for green tiles. So yeah, Zandrea is a great choice as well. If I didn't have Cupido, Alfrike, I think I would choose Zandrea to increase my roster for Rush Wars. And even with that, Zandrea, I still could be choosing her, but in my mind, I have another hero that I would want more. But Zandrea is perfectly fine, and the stats are okay-ish still. Yeah, you can see like more than 2,300 health points, which is totally fine. With a legendary troop, she can really do a great work. Moving on to red heroes, we have Flip, who was a beach party hero from last year, I believe. Or was it this year? No, given the stats, it was last year, for sure. I think it can be really useful if you like a strong red heroes, but for Mythic Titan. Outside of this, or Classic Titan. Outside of this, depending on your roster again, but there are so many more greater heroes than Flip. Phenexa for me is better, and obviously Hathor is way better. So even I'm wondering, yeah, for decks that are like not that for decks that don't have a lot of materials for 5 stars, I would prefer to invest in a Boltusk Toon than in a Flip, honestly. Because for me, it doesn't do enough to be considered unless you have a lot of rings and you need like some backup for Mythic Titan. But yeah, I wouldn't choose Flip. Hypnos for me, a hero I've always wanted and never had. So pretty happy to see him there. They have great passive, the Styx heroes. Just let me check in game. If I look at Nyx that I have. Yes, if I look at Nyx, she have like resistance against defense and elemental defense drop, which is really interesting. And they, the Stick families, they can also lower mana generation on the enemy team. So really useful. This hero has been out since like a solstice event, so it was before the Styx Tower event. And yeah, the stats are falling behind, but for me, if the stats are not that great, if the special skills compensate the lack of stats, for me, you can still consider the hero. And for Hypnos, it's totally the case. You don't have a lot of priority dispel. The mana charge 2 will be the best. It will dispel buff from all enemies, deal a good amount of damage, and prevent bonuses from all enemies, and you can have it in 8 or 9 tiles, which is amazing. So you can have a good combo with Ray, with Marjana costume, this type of heroes. And with a hero like Hypnos in your team, you don't fear taunters anymore. You are like you prevent the enemy for buff, which is super useful. So yeah, Hypnos is such a great hero, even with the lack of stats. Yeah, but if you put him a legendary troop, that's fine. And we have Ullius after that. For the moving on to the blue heroes, another magic heroes. Ullius, I don't know, I haven't seen him a lot in defense, but I think in attack is pretty great, because if you do the first charge, you can summon some minions, and the minions will give you mana generation. So with 20%, you should be able to activate your fast heroes in 6 tiles, which is pretty great. And the second charge, you can summon some fiends for the enemy that are pretty consistent, so why not? Ullius is a good hero as well. The stats are pretty good. 1225 is more recent than other heroes in this list. Thanatos, another Styx hero that I have. Thanatos, I'm still using him as a support hero, and I totally recommend him. Pretty great. I prefer the charge 2, because it will increase directly by 10% the mana of all allies and recover 30% health. And if you have the charge 3, it's like incredible as well. He's Druid, so he has the 4% mana. So yeah, they're totally a great hero if you like to play 4-1 or 3-1-3, or with a main color of 3 heroes and 2 support. Thanatos is your guy, definitely. And we have Cell for the last one. Cell, that is a slow hero from Carnival of Gods. A hero that is mostly great for Rush, and even for Rush, I think there are better heroes than Cell. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Cell, to be honest. She has great stats, defensive stats, but she doesn't do any damage, so you can use the strategy of putting all her tiles on her, and she will, in the end, only summon minions. So if you have a minion remover, it's game over for the enemy. So yeah, don't hesitate to put a comment if you agree with me on what I said regarding some heroes. Maybe you find some heroes better than what I said. But yeah, for this list, the standouts for me are definitely Becky. I would say Nemesis, Constance, given that we are in a purple meta, Zandrea, Hypnos, Ullius, and Thanatos. That would be my the heroes that I prefer. So yeah, happy gaming everyone, and see you soon for other videos. Bye bye.